Oh boy. All right. Look, I like me some intellectual shit and all that stuff, but let's face it, sometimes I like getting into some naked shit, right? And the latest beef that's been going on right now is, well, the latest drama. I can't call it beef because beef is like when shit really goes down. So the latest drama that's been going on right now is between Kwame Brown and Hassan Campbell. Hassan Campbell? Is that how you say his name? All right. So I posed the question, right? I posed the question: does Kwame and Hassan Campbell both promoting violence? The short answer is no. No, it's not. Because like I said, you guys already understand my perspective of Kwame Brown. And so far it hasn't changed. Right? Because like I said, Kwame Brown is a lot of nightmares for people. And the reason I say this is because this was very intelligent, and he has a way of articulating his message to the point that's actually that's palatable towards the general audience, which is one of the reasons why, like, the whole beef thing kind of works in his favor, right? Because it keeps the drama going, keeps people coming back, and therefore, while he's having all these interaction and drama, he sneak in the message that he's trying to promote in the first place. Whereas without the drama, without all the beef, then a lot of his messages would actually fall upon deaf ears, right? So regardless how annoying these drama are, or they can be, or actually can be more of a distraction towards what he's trying to accomplish, they also help, right? But now, with that being said, is it the same thing as other people just creating drama just for the hell of it, just to get views? No, because all the beef that he's been into has to do with people first talking about him and him responding to what they've been saying about him. And a lot of time when he actually responds to someone, he try to do it respectfully because he first try to understand where that person's coming from. Right? Same thing with Tommy. When Tommy started shit with him, and he was like, his response to Tommy was respectful. Like, dude, what the hell's going on? He's like, why are you doing this? Right? Same thing with Dr. Boyce Watskin. Right? So what do these people have in common? Right? Because when you're looking at it, it seems like Kwame and them pretty much saying the same thing. Well, not pretty much saying the same thing. They have a lot of commonality with their messages. So then why do they have a problem with Kwame pretty much saying the same thing that they've been saying for years? Well, it's simple. It's money. So if people are listening to Tommy, then they're not listening. I mean, if people are listening to Kwame, then they get that most likely means that they're not listening to them as much as they used to. Things like that happen, right? You have a platform and you have a message, you have a certain level of talking point, and then when people do, have the similar talking point as you, and actually they run with it, then therefore that's less super chat for you, right? And a lot of these motherfuckers, let's face it, it's all about the money. They might say a good game, they might talk about a lot of shit, but they always want to keep you coming back to them to actually get that message. As if like it's not about fixing any type of solution. It's all about like, yeah, yeah, you like what I say, right? So all right, yo, come back to me, super chat, do this, do that, and stuff like that. And yeah, next time I will talk to you about the Masons. I'm gonna talk to you about some type of boogeyman. Now, get you down to Hassan Campbell. So just like all these other people are doing, it's all about money. So Hassan Campbell, he's somewhat mad because he's been doing the same thing Kwame's saying. He's been saying the same thing Kwame's saying. How the hell Kwame blew up so quickly? So it must be amazing. He must be part of the go along, get along gang that he's been preaching. And it seems like, right, in our community, a lot of people that tend to turn this pro-black thing and stuff like that, right, is they still want to glorify the street life, but in the same breath, try to tell you, oh, well, you know what? The street life ain't no fun, you know what I'm saying? But because I used to hang out with niggas that will pop your brains out, and we're gonna jump for what believe it's mine and all this shit. It's like, dude, why are you making it sound like that? Right? Like, why is it like I'm looking at the I was looking at the whole chat, right? I mean, not the chat. I was looking at what was going on with the conversation. Well, supposed to be a conversation, but it turns out into a fucking shouting match, right? And I'm looking at it, and this guy, I don't think even realize what the fuck he's saying. I'm talking about Campbell, right? Hassan. He's at first he's like, well, you know what? Like in the hood where we come from, like your dad, he caught a body and stuff like that. We will actually help him bury it, but we'll talk about that afterward. Hey, wait a minute. When Kwame said talk about his dad, did something that was wrong and stuff like that, and then the Breakfast Club, brought up the situation in order to actually demonize him. He wasn't glorifying his dad for catching a body, but automatically you give his dad so much respect for catching a body or killing somebody. He'd be like, yeah, you know what? And where we come from, we would have helped your dad bury the body. Like, what the fuck does that got to do with anything? Right? And now let's talk about Kwame Brown a little bit when it comes to, let's say, glorifying violence, right? Like Tommy, I mean, with Kwame Brown, he like on his last stream, he was like, "Yo, when he pull out his knife, like, I bring my switchblade for situation like this." Yeah, yes sir, yes sir. So in a way, people can actually conduce that, be like, "Well, he's glorifying violence as well." He's saying that he have no problem bringing his switchblade, in a situation like this and shit like that, right? Here's the difference. So every man have the possibility, have the capability of being violent, right? Every man, because every man have something worth being violent for. Every man have something worth protected for. The difference is what do you give a fuck about? So in a situation where my daughter called me talking about like, yo, this guy just slapped me and shit like that, hell yeah, I'm gonna bring my switchblade in a situation like this. So when you prioritize what you would go to prison for, when you prioritize what you would actually go to jail for, that priority has to make sense. Whereas you have a guy like, Hassan Campbell, right? Going to the hood with all his jewelry on and all this shit, right? And then when Kwame asked him, like, dude, when you put yourself in a situation where somebody try to take your jewelry and stuff like that, what do you think you're going to have to do to actually, it's like, well, somebody try me and shit like that. We're going to go to war for this. So you're willing to go to war over shiny object. You're willing to go to war over little jewelries and shit like that, just so you gotta look good, so you gotta protect your jewels, nigga, right? So you're willing to be violent over that. But then again, you would then leave your family exposed without the father, without a provider, because somebody tried to rob your jewelry, which you actually put yourself in a situation where you're looking like food for a motherfucker try to take your shit. It's different versus like now, if you try to protect your family, then yeah, you're willing to go to jail protecting your family. What up, Greg? What's going on, man? And it's like that's the difference between like when Kwame is like, talking shit sometimes. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna jump up in your ass like a trampoline. Now, when it comes to challenging a man over like, yeah, let's knuckle up, nigga, let's do this, let's do that, right? And then this motherfucker was like, when, where, right? So in a sense, like, dude, is it worth it getting into fight and beef with these dumbass motherfuckers? Your mama's cooking. Yo, this channel is very fucking entertaining, man. His channel is very entertaining, but it's also very inspirational. Right. So anyway, so my detractor when it comes to to Kwame, right? When Hassan, like when he's losing the argument, the verbal argument, now like every emotional male, now they want to fight. They want to get into some sort of knuckle up. Let's knuckle up and shit like that. As if you winning a physical fight somehow detract from the point you try to make. Right? It doesn't do anything. Because if you're an idiot that can whoop somebody's ass, you're still an idiot. It doesn't make any difference. Like, brute force doesn't automatically prove that you are right. Right? So then, like when Kwame is like, all right, when and where? So therefore, that I don't really agree with, because you actually now you are wasting your time trying to fight a dumbass, right? An immature boy that's pretending to be a man, and the only reason why he wants to fight you now is because he try to save face. Because if he said, now, okay, now I want to fight you, and then you're like, dude, you're not worth it, and then he could go on to his little buddy, to his little group, and then talk about some shit like, well, see, I wanted to whoop his ass. He knows real niggas don't play shit like that. It's like that's all he's doing. Yapping his mouth and all this shit, right? So he's willing to actually jeopardize his freedom or jeopardize his well-being just to prove that he's a street nigga, right? And then Kwame entertaining that fact that, all right, when and where, right? So then that's kind of you giving into the fuck shit. Even though I might not agree with you in that perspective, I understand. I understand, because sometimes it's like a lot of time people trying to put up that aggressiveness and shit like that, and then when you put them in the spot and when you actually try to tell them to show their hands, then they don't know what the fuck to do to back out of it. So it can either become more violent. So from like, and which was pretty smart when you said, like, all right, no knife bringing, no gun, none of that shit, just you and me, just fight, right? I understand that part, but bitch niggas, they don't like to fight. They like to shoot. They like to do things to bring things to the extreme, because that's their only way they can actually, like, come out of this situation on top, right? Because if it's all about the glory, if it's all about the fucking I'm a street nigga, blah blah blah. So then therefore the only way they can actually get out of the situation without looking like a punk is to then try to bring bodily harm upon you, try to actually bring death upon you or your family, right? Or they're gonna try to take it that way, which is the same thing that Jackson, what's his name, Jackson something, try to do, right? Because when you call him up on his bullshit, about fighting, then he want to pull up in traffic, right? Yo, I'm gonna have my boys catch you up in traffic, type of shit, right? Because at the end of the day, they don't really want that ass whooping. They just want to talk a lot of shit, and then when you try to call them on their hand, then they want to bring things more to the extreme, because they wish for you to back out of it. They want you to back out of it, because that's the only way they can save face, right? Besides, Kwame, you retired, so then therefore you bruise your hand and shit like that, right? Or during a fight, you can take a couple of months off to recover and all that shit. You all right? You got money. Regular motherfuckers, they're not gonna take the time out to fight idiots on YouTube and shit, and then having to go to work the next day. That's fucking up their money, right? So you can afford to do that. So you can afford to take on some of these challenges when dudes try to be like, yeah, let's knuckle up, nigga. Let's do this, nigga. Like I said, I'm into some of that nigga shit. It's interesting. It's funny as hell and all that stuff. But I think at the end of the day, you try to fight Hassan. Oh, Campbell try to fight you, and then you saying like, all right, when and where, I'm gonna jump up in your ass like a triple. It's funny. It's funny as fuck. But it's a waste of time. It is definitely a waste of time. And you know what? If you gotta teach this little fucker a lesson, hey, do your thing, bro. But personally, I think it is a waste of time and shit. Dude like Hassan wakes up every day showing off their street credit. uh Even though they're not in the street anymore. See, and that's the fucking problem that I have with a lot of these so-called pro-black, right? That's my main problem with them. A lot of these so-called pro-black are made up of a whole bunch of dudes that have been to prison that actually made a lot of mistakes in their lives, right? They made some mistakes in their lives and shit like that, right? Because they were knuckleheads. They went to prison and all this shit. So then their good years passed them by. So then now they want to come back to the hood as a so-called elder. They want to come back to the hood as a so-called, like, as if what you did had something to do with white supremacy. Well, the black men, they got us locked up in chain and prison, all this shit. I was rolling with some real niggas back in my day. Like, dude, why are you glorifying the same shit that got you locked up in the first place? Right? It's like, yeah, we look up to guys like Meech, like Big Meech, and this and that, type of nigga that will, scratch your brain and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude. And you don't understand how when Kwame said that you glorifying this shit, you cannot make the connection. Like you can't do that. You know, and you could be like, well, Kwame do the same thing. He's telling he's pulling up switchblade for situation like this. What's the difference? It's just like one, Kwame said it smoother, and two, he's prioritizing what he's willing to be violent for. He's prioritizing what he's willing to be violent for. I have no doubt somebody try to rob you or somebody try to rob me or whatever the case may be and shit like that, right? If you have the opportunity to protect yourself to fight, you will fucking do it, right? However, you're not gonna try to put yourself in these type of situation where you're gonna have to go to court. You're gonna have to, because being a legal a firearm owner, someone that actually has every right to protect themselves from someone that try to bring harm to them and their property. You have every legal right to defend yourself. I get that part. But at the same time, you also try to avoid these type of situations because it's not worth it, right? But when it comes to having to protect your family, yes, it is definitely worth it. If I have to protect my family and shit like that, and there's a chance I might go to jail for protecting my family, yeah, I'm protecting my family regardless of the situation, or regardless of what might come with it. But over jewelries, nigga, over me trying to look good, me trying to look tough, me trying to have that bling bling and all this shit, I'm gonna go to war for a nigga for this shit. It's like, you stupid. You fucking idiot. And he cannot, and Son Campbell cannot comprehend why this dude try to actually bring that situation to life. It's like, bro, you willing to leave your family fatherless, your wife without a husband, because you try to prove to motherfuckers, yeah, you ain't no foot in the hood, even though you got all these jewelry. And that's that level of stupidity. That's that level of stupidity why it's so hard for the so-called community to actually advance forward, because you have dudes that try to prove these things. I'm gangster. So therefore, all the shit that I'm saying is real because I've been to prison. I'm willing to die for what's mine, nigga. Like, bro, you don't understand the way that tough talk, all that bullshit creates a perpetual cycle of violence, of people continuously getting killed for stupid shit. It's like, you don't get it. You don't understand it. You're not like going to war because somebody disrespects your wife or your daughter, or someone try to actually, bring harm upon your family. No, you're going to war over jewelries. But in the same breath, turn around and disrespecting Cyanetta's wife. Yeah, you know what? Tell Cyanetta she can have his ugly ass wife suck my dick. It's like, bro, like, and then at the same breath, try to turn around and be like, yo, the violence in the community is not worth it, man. It's not, we should not be doing things like that, man. Like, do you fucking hear yourself? Do you fucking hear yourself? Right? Hold on. Malcolm X was involved in the street before he started his pro-black preaching journey. Yes, that is true. But at the same time, look at the way he actually speak afterward. He wasn't glorifying the pimp and the hoes and all this shit as if like that was his past or something to be proud about, right? There's a difference. Be like, all right, look, um, yes, I've been to prison. I've done this. I've done a lot of stupid shit in my life, and I hope you guys can actually do better than me, right? But you want to bring up like dudes that's like criminals and like shooters and all this shit. It's like, yeah, I hung around with niggas like this. I hung around with Big Meech and blah 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 blah. And then and then when you get called out on it, be like, well, you know what? If you look through my catalog, you would see that I disavow that type of street life. But I'm in the hood every day with my jewels and shit like that, you know? A nigga try to test me for mine, I'm gonna go to war for this. You don't see what's wrong with that type of mentality, and why you perpetuate that type of cycle is that tough bravado, claiming to be street, claiming to be hood, and actually willing to be talked so disrespectful to people that you don't even know. That you don't even know. And then when you got called out by the way that you speak, right? Your mannerism, the way, the energy that you portray out there, you put out there, then you try to backtrack and backpedal and be like, well, see, you misrepresenting what I'm saying. I don't glorify violence, you know? I'm like, dude, you are on videotape bragging about your prison credential as if that's what makes you a real nigga. And that is the issue that I have with a lot of this so-called pro-black, right? It's not the fact that you have the ability to be violent. It's not that. It's about what you're willing to be violent for, what you are willing to sacrifice your freedom for, is what gets to me. Yo, what's going on, Marachin? What's going on, bro? And that's the thing that gets to me is like, yo, our ability to actually not knowing what battles to fight and what battles to walk away from is the thing that actually that I found hilarious. Because on one breath, we claiming that, we are, going to prison. We are doing a whole bunch of shit because of the white man, because of the white man's policies and all this shit. But not realizing, dude, you put yourself into a lot of these situations where that can lead you to prison. So what are you willing to lose your freedom over? I don't want to lose my freedom because, dude, I got family that depends on me. So I'm not gonna try to like, have something to prove, try to be like, yeah, try to, meet a motherfucker, try to do this. For what? I gotta go to work, I gotta make money. I'm trying to be financially independent. So you think I'm gonna have time to roll around the dust with your dusty ass motherfuckers? No. And you can talk as much shit as you want on the internet. It doesn't bother me because I don't know you. I don't know you, and I'm not trying to get to know you. You don't matter to me, right? So priorities. Um, are these two guys promoting violence? No, they're not promoting violence. But I think you have two contrasts of what they're willing to be violent for. Kwame is willing to be violent over his family. He's willing to actually defend and protect his family. And he's willing to actually avoid situation that would actually get him away from his family, get him away from what actually that might get him into a long term situation, right? That's why when he's talking shit, it's like, all right, no gun, no knife, just me and you. We can settle this. Since you said that you want to whoop my ass and shit like that, no problem. All right, I guess I can do this. But these motherfuckers, like, they glorify it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to war over what? Jewelries? Jewelries, nigga? Come on now. But anyway, so what up, Psycho Candy? What's going on, bro? I haven't heard from you for a while, man. Hope you're doing good, bro. But anyway, so this was my low 2 cents on this whole situation. I thought that was freaking hilarious with Kwame Brown and Hassan Campbell. And I'm not sure if you'll ever see this video, but if it does, I don't think it's worth it. But then again, sometimes, hey, listen. Then again, if you feel like you want to exercise, you want to shoulder, roll your shoulders and shit like that, and just like get your little exercise on, and hey, have at it. But I think it's a waste of time because otherwise, if that works out, oh, put it this way: this motherfucker try to actually get a free vacation out of this. Like, yo, you gonna pay my flight, nigga? You gonna pay for my hotel too, nigga? First of all, you don't want that challenge to do to a fight. You don't want that one to actually knuckle up and shit like that. And then now you asking him to pay for your flight and your hotel room. What type of shit is that? What type of shit is that? But anyway, so my point is, I think Kwame responding to these physical challenges and stuff like that, right? It's gonna be a waste of time. It's gonna be a waste of time, and it's not gonna go anywhere. It's just to prove these folks have no they don't really have any substance. Because if you want to speak about, black on black violence, but as soon as you can no longer express yourself verbally, the first thing you want to do is bring violence to another black man. Doesn't make any sense. So that itself should speak about the level of maturity and actually detract from the message which, you know the guy claimed to be preaching in the first place. So by actually, try to fight you, that itself is showing that he's an idiot. What up, El Mexicano? So yeah, so that's all I have to say in this matter. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for coming through. I appreciate it. And shout out to Kwame. Self Talk. Hey, by the way, you guys check out this channel, Self Talk. It's actually pretty interesting. And yeah, so I'm out of here. Peace. All right, take care, man.